England's Queen Elizabeth is said to be experiencing minor symptoms after testing positive for COVID-19. The 95-year-old was diagnosed after Prince Charles and Camilla also tested positive. Joining us now with the latest on the Queen's condition is ABC News royal contributor Omid Scobie. Omid, good to see you. What symptoms are we talking about? How is the Queen feeling?
Well, what's been so interesting about this news of the Queen's diagnosis, Diane, is the fact that Buckingham Palace have been very transparent on just what she's suffering with. They've gone into great detail about how she's suffering from light symptoms, and it's sort of more almost like a cold-like state that she's in. They've also really gone to great lengths to point out that she's continuing her work behind the scenes, and we've already seen examples from that. Yesterday, she put out a message of congratulations to Team GB after their success at the Winter Olympics, and today we saw her put out a message of condolence to the people of Brazil following the catastrophic floods that took place there. So we can see that at least in terms of her desk work, it continues as normal for the Queen, and that's very much a message that the Palace are keen to have out there, particularly as our government's currently preparing to roll out a living with COVID plan for the country, which is basically encouraging people to get on with it despite the COVID virus. People are being told that they'll no longer have to isolate in England later this week. So that's a big change here. And I think with the Queen going through COVID at that very moment, it sends out a message of, you know, what we're used to hearing from the royals: keep calm and carry on.
And the British people themselves are also known for that keep calm and carry on mentality. But there's also a special level of concern when anything happens to the Queen there. So how are Brits taking this news?
Yeah, we're particularly protective of the Queen, particularly as she's approaching her 96th birthday in just over a month. This is a defining year for her, 70 years on the throne, and we're going to be celebrating that in June for the Platinum Jubilee. So like anyone would about an elderly woman, you worry when you hear that she's suffering from COVID. Despite how the Palace describe her minor symptoms, she is not iron by any means. She's vulnerable like many elderly people. And so it does cause worry for many around the country. But I think the Palace being very transparent about her symptoms and also giving those updates on the work that she's doing sends out that message that she's getting on with it, doing everything she can to push through. Now, whether that's advisable or not, I would probably prefer to hear a 90-something woman resting after being testing positive for COVID. But I think as the head of state, she does have a job to do, and she's clearly getting on with it.
Now, is the Palace changing any protocol for other royal family members like Prince William and his family around this?
Well, I think as we hear from Prime Minister Boris Johnson later this week, those changes to the self-isolation rules in England will possibly be reflected in how we see royals work. So if William or Kate do test positive for COVID in the coming weeks, we might see them carrying on with their work, just like other people in the country are being encouraged to do so. So the Queen could be one of the very last royals to be self-isolating in this way after a positive diagnosis. And you know, of course, there is worry across the entire royal family for the Queen at this time. You know, it's only recent that we saw Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, suffer with the virus. And, you know, both of them came out very positively afterwards. But, you know, we have to remember it wasn't that long ago that the Queen was part of what was called HMS Bubble at Windsor Castle. She was sort of wrapped in cotton wool and kept very safe from the virus. And since then, that has eased. And we've then now seen that members of the royal household, staff working at Windsor Castle, have also tested positive for coronavirus. And she's ultimately become part of that. And so it begs the question, should we be doing more to protect the Queen at this time? Or is this exactly how it should be, her setting an example for the rest of the country?
Well, and you anticipated my next question, which is how you strike that balance. On the one hand, wanting her to show, see, we can all just carry on now. But on the other hand, knowing that her 96th birthday is coming up, they have big celebrations planned this summer for her 70th anniversary. And obviously, just generally, you're a country that likes to protect your Queen.
Yeah, Diane, I think royal correspondents, including myself, are often guilty of sort of painting the Queen as almost an invincible character. She has seen through so much during her 70 years on the throne. But as we've seen, no one is invincible to the virus. We can put all of our faith in the vaccine. And of course, we've heard from the Palace when she had her first vaccine, and we've heard from sources that she had her booster and a third booster later last year. So, you know, we put our faith in that and we hope for the best. And I think that's exactly how the rest of the royal family are feeling. There's certainly a sort of positive feeling within the royal family and within the royal households that she's just getting on with the work. I heard from sources that today she's feeling in good spirits, so that's encouraging. And I'm sure we'll see her at some point later this week in some capacity as she continues to do that work that we're talking about.
All right, Omid Scobie, always great to have you, Omid. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.